This is Talk to Seattle, and I'm your host, Jason Rigden. On this episode, we have Narboo. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good. Sun is shining. How are you?
Doing pretty good. So you are a visual artist. Could you maybe describe your art a little bit? I know it's a difficult thing to ask.
Yeah, no problem. My art is pretty bold, bold lines, bright colors, and character-based. I do mostly characters, animals, birds, that kind of thing. I don't do too many people. I'm not a big people person, and maybe that's why I love animals and always have. So that's more the route I go. I'm kind of inspired by nature and the city. And so this is a perfect place to live in Seattle because it's not too far from a nature trail or being in the heart of downtown.
And you do a lot of stickers and stuff, right?
Yeah, stickers and wheat paste. That's kind of been my thing for a while now.
And what really made you start doing the stickers and the wheat pastes?
I started seeing them around, and I was probably in my mid to late 20s, and I wasn't really getting anywhere with my artwork, and I didn't really paint yet. So I did mostly comics and illustration work, and I wasn't getting any work, or people wanted me to draw stuff that I just wasn't interested in, like brochures and stuff like that. So I just started doing my characters, and I started noticing other characters on the streets, and I was like, well, I don't know, might as well try it. And I just started, I come up with characters all the time, constantly fill sketchbooks full. So I just started kind of drawing them on sticker paper and throwing them around and seeing what the reaction would be. And that's actually how I got my first art show. And then I've been showing art around Seattle pretty much ever since.
Well, it's a really great way to reach people that you might not be able to otherwise, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I've found people that are either on vacation or that we've never crossed paths, but they'll see a little sticker and they're heading to work, and it'll make them smile or something and make them feel good about the day. And they'll reach out like through back in the day it was Flickr, and then Instagram or email or something. They'll reach out and say, hey, I noticed this little guy, and it made me happy. I wasn't very happy heading to work, and that that cheered me up. So that's a pretty cool thing about it.
Yeah, definitely. That's one thing I really like about a lot of the street art, is that it just brings a little bit of joy into what sometimes can be an otherwise dreary journey or just experience. It's like a little bit of, like a little Easter egg.
Yeah. I always say it. I know it sounds corny, but I always say if I can make people smile, then I've done my job. And it sounds cliche, but it's true, because there's just not enough of that in the world. So I figure if I can spread a little bit of that with whatever powers I have, which through the pencil or pen or brush, that's how I want to spread it.
And they're often, sharing like direct messages. I believe, I'm not sure, is it called Feral Cat? There's a cat that holds a little sign.
Oh yeah. I used to I've had him for probably 8 years now, or 10 years. I've been drawing him, and he used to just beg on the corner for catnip, but he's gotten a little more political over the years. And I now kind of, when I have a issue that I'm struggling with or feeling angry or upset or not quite sure how to react to, or I always turn to drawing anyway. So I'll put the little piece of whatever I'm feeling or little catchphrase I come up with, I'll put it on his sign, and then I'll go wheat paste them up in Post Alley or make some stickers or pop them around town. And it makes me happy, and then other people interact with it, and it for the most part makes them happy, or it makes them mad, and either way I got a reaction. And so I guess that's good either way.
Well, what kind of role do you think that politics and art kind of play in each other?
Oh, that's a big question. I mean, it definitely plays a role. I feel like just being an artist and having a voice in a way, whether people are listening or not, you just kind of have an obligation to I don't know. For me anyways, I just feel like I can't just sit back and watch what's going on and just say, oh well, it's not bothering me, so I'll go buy a mocha and enjoy my day. I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like you gotta take action, even if it's making signs or stickers or, getting your point out there, and it gets other people talking, if nothing else. And that's always a good thing.
And how did you get started making art?
Well, the story goes, ever since I could pick up a crayon, I was drawing Batman or Scooby-Doo, because that's what was in front of me. And then it moved on to like Garfield and Calvin and Hobbes. But I've always been into characters, have always spoken to me. And they still do. So I've just always drawn characters, and whether it was starting out drawing what I saw on TV or commercials or toys I got, to it expanded to then I started doing my own characters. I've pretty much always had my own like comics or my own characters. Even like in third grade, I had a character that came a recurring, that's the damn word I was looking for, a recurring character that I drew all the time and had little comics about. And that's just always been who I am. And it carried into adulthood, and now sometimes people pay me to do that, and that's a great feeling.
And how do you make your art? Is it pen and paper or digital, or how do you do that?
Most of it is pencil and then ink, and then or acrylics. I've done some digital work, but it wasn't until recently I got a new iPad with the Apple Pencil, and now I'm having a blast doing because it feels closer. Like before, I did Illustrator, Photoshop. It was okay, but it didn't feel quite the same. Now with this, it feels the same as holding a pencil or a pen or a brush, and that made all the difference in the world. So now I'm enjoying just drawing on the old iPad there. It's quite a bit of fun, but most of my work is pens, pencils, acrylics, paints, that kind of stuff.
You've also done some murals around town. What are the special challenges of making a piece that's that big?
I don't know. I'm always excited, whether it's a little scrap piece of paper or if it's a big giant wall. I'll just probably add more to it. That's basically it. Like in my sketchbook, I'll, draw 2, 3, 4, 20 characters. But if I have a big wall, then I'll probably even go a little crazier. The pinball room at Olaf's in Ballard, I never did count how many characters. It's 150 or something like that. I don't know. I couldn't even keep track of it, so I don't know how anyone else would count it. And then there were 4 other murals in that restaurant, and there's different characters on each of those walls too that are pretty much different than the ones that are in the pinball room. So yeah, just if I have a wall, then I just kind of go to town and come up with even crazier characters and more characters, and it just pushes it.
One thing we've been talking about in the show when we talk to artists is just how Instagram has influenced their art and allowing their stuff to be shown to so many people. It's kind of like that street art, but on a whole nother level. How has it affected your art?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely played a role. I like it because it's based on visuals, which is what I do. So it's that part's easy. I just draw something, whether it's a quick sketch or something I've spent all day on, painted and drawn and sweated over. Either way, I could throw it up there, and that's what it's made for visual stuff, so to speak. So, I mean, it connects with people that I wouldn't necessarily be able to connect to, especially before. I've always drawn in my sketchbooks. I've got hundreds of them. And, but if I pulled a character out of there, then that guy would have a little life to him. But for the most part, there's hundreds of characters in there that have never really seen the light of day. But since Instagram, social media in general, pretty much not everything I draw, but a lot of the stuff that I draw, I will post. And so many more so many more of my characters have seen the light of day, and like something I'm not necessarily like, oh yeah, I'm going to draw this guy for a while. Maybe that's how I'm feeling, but someone will notice a different character in the sketch or drawing, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's connecting. So I guess I'll go down that route. So I mean, that's been kind of a cool part of that.
It also seems to allow you to connect with your fans in a way that artists in the past have never been able to do.
Yeah, definitely. They can just, if they find your art, whether it's on the streets or, at a show or in a coffee shop somewhere, or just on the ground, if they know it's you and they can figure out how to get to your page, then they can find you. And then either they can come to a show or get a commission or buy a piece or see where you sell a button or something, so they can, feel a little bit more connected to that artist.
Do you think that Seattle is still a good city for artists?
Oh, definitely. It's home for me. I love it, but I don't know how you don't get inspired here. I mean, it's awesome. You look up and there's the Puget Sound, glistening in the sun, and then you turn around, there's Mount Rainier, and like I said earlier, the city itself is great. There's so much art in the city, different artists, stickers, murals, shows everywhere. It's music's everywhere. It's just, yeah, it's awesome. I can't say enough about it.
And do you have any advice for maybe young or aspiring artists?
The only thing I would say, which is probably what they've already heard, but I don't know, just take it to heart because it's true. Just keep doing it. Like whether you're drawing, painting, music, whatever, just do it. Because like if you feel like you have to do it, then just do it, because someone will notice at some point, and plus then you'll be happy. And it's, yeah, just keep making art. Just do it. Just go for it.
And where can people buy your work?
They can always contact me like through Instagram, like we talked about, or I have different shows around town, and then a permanent spot, I have stuff at Robot versus Sloth at Pike Place Market, which is a rad spot owned by another local artist, LaRue, and she has quite a few local artists in there. It's a rad spot. It exposes my stuff to even more people because it's a pretty touristy area of the city, so even more people that wouldn't have seen it before are getting exposed to it. So that's been a pretty rad spot for me.
Yeah, everyone listening should go to that shop. It is absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, definitely. It's rad.
And if people want to follow you or keep up with what you're doing, how should they follow you? Like, is it mostly Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram's probably what I keep updated the most, just because it's in my pocket at all times, and I'm always drawing or doing something, and it's just easy to take a picture, or now working on the iPad, just upload it. So yeah, just Narboo, Narboo on Instagram, and that's where I'll be making art.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today, and thank you so much for sharing your art with the city.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you for having me on, and it just feels good to make art.
This has been Talk to Seattle, and I've been your host, Jason Rigden. If you want to support the show, please go to talktoseattle.com/support.